another week in the AFL with Port Adelaide at the Adelaide Oval with Richmond Tigers. Port Adelaide was sitting around 9th coming into this game. Richmond were sitting bottom of the ladder. Earlier, the weather conditions weren't too good. It rained pretty hard here at Adelaide. The ground was wet. But during the game itself, it didn't get rain at all. It was good weather for the game. So how did Port go against the bottom team? I would say probably for the first 3 quarters we played like a bottom team. We could have been a lot better. Look, we struggled in certain areas, especially our tackling. Our tackling was a big issue in those first 3 quarters. Putting that pressure on, winning the ball. Again, Port Adelaide, learn to tackle. Don't be soft. Go hard in your tackles. Contest for the ball. It was neck and neck for the first 3 quarters against the bottom team. Not only are they the bottom team, they're playing away. Not only are they playing away, they've got numerous big injuries in their side. We've got a couple of big injuries, a handful or so, but nothing compared to the bottom team at the moment in the competition. We needed some players to lift. And with Marshall being out, Dixon was able to secure his spot for this week. Dixon, we know, is on the ropes. This is his last season. My last videos, that last week, Dixon should not play again in the AFL. But you know what? He did well. He did okay. He kicked 4 goals. That's a solid effort for a key forward to kick 4 goals. I know it's against the bottom team, but the conditions weren't perfect either. So he did okay, Dixon. I still don't think he's in our best 22, but for the injuries that we're currently got on the sideline, we have to play Dixon. So as much as Dixon's done, I think, he was able to perform well and help us win that game. Georgiades came back from suspension last week. He was solid. He kicked some great shots. Coming back from an ACL last year, I think he kicked 3 goals this game. Could have dropped a few easy marks, but he was solid as a forward. I'm happy. Then our midfielders, Rosie, Butters, and Horne-Francis weren't their best, but they were solid. They were okay. We're playing a bottom team. They could have done a lot better, but they were okay. Now, we've got Carlton next week. I think it's at Etihad, but or it's MCG. It's in Melbourne. And from what I read, Rosie came off in that last 4th quarter with a hip injury. Now, if that's the case, that's the 2nd game in a row against Carlton where we won't have our captain. If he is injured, we'll see how he goes this week. It could be all talk. Who knows? Hopefully, Rosie gets up. If not, we'll be down Rosie next week. I don't think we're going to get Soldo back next week. I still think he's a couple of weeks away before he's back. But let's talk about some real standouts for that game. Number 1 standout is our mid-season pickup, Logan Evans. 18-year-old. He's not that big. He's a skinny kid. But as a halfback defender on the wing, for an 18-year-old who's played 3 AFL games, he fits our side perfectly. He'll play every week. Hopefully we can secure him next year as well. As you know, mid-season pickups are only on a very short contract. So hopefully we can extend that contract. I think he's very valuable in our side. Our defence wasn't too bad. We held up okay. They didn't have much of a forward line, let's be honest. But our defence held up okay. We kept them under 100 points, which is what you want in a game of football. But in relation to our gameplay, was Richmond absolutely destroyed us in the counterattacks. When we're pushing forward and we do stupid handballs or we can't hit targets, Richmond were able to turn the ball over and score off turnovers. They scored numerous goals off their turnovers because of our poor skill levels. If we learn to kick properly and actually hit targets, use the ground, play as a team, dispose of effectively, then Richmond won't have the chance of putting that pressure on and turning it over and scoring goals. So, look, it's not much to say. It's Richmond. It's the bottom team. We've got Carlton next week. That's got to be a real test. Let's see which Port Adelaide turns up next week. And hopefully we get, at least we try hard. Like, we're not guaranteed finals. We're still at least 2 wins away, maybe 3 wins away before we can make top 8. And whoever plays us in the top 8, that's a bye week for them, I'm guessing. We're just making up the numbers. But at least we're winning. At least we're not getting absolutely destroyed by bottom teams. But there are a couple of players that really need to stand up. I don't even know, correct me if I'm wrong, but was Kane Farrell playing? Because I did not see him whatsoever. I was there. I did not see Kane Farrell at all. I'm not sure if he played. But it wasn't like it was bad enough that, he was noticeable in that kind of aspect. Burgoyne, you know how I feel about Burgoyne. Young player, needs to put some meat on him. He did okay. There was a few little turnovers, but to be honest, I'll give him a pass this week. But Darcy Byrne-Jones, how the heck do you still keep getting a game? This guy has zero impact. Zero impact. He can't play as a defender. They move him up forward. He can't play as a forward. So what does he do? He's just that old grandpa that you just bring on trips who just sits there and does nothing because he's part of the family. This guy's the biggest fly under the radar player. He might play good for 2 minutes, and that 2 minutes somehow gets him a game every week. Darcy Byrne-Jones back in the reserves. We've got a few changes still to happen, I think, to perfect it. But look, that last quarter, we played like we should have played the first 3 quarters. We absolutely blitzed them that last quarter. Lucky, because if we lost, oh my goodness, that's all we need. Start playing for draft picks. Anyway, that's my video for today. There's no shot because it was Richmond, but I do have my chai latte here. It's warm. It's cold weather here. And I'll see you all next week against Carlton.